Hello and welcome to the mini and to the Annie. Today, before we get into the topic of the day, I want to remind us all on the purpose. It is not for people who have a super strong background or anything else like that, or maybe you might and you're really looking for some other approach. That's who these today is kind of geared for. Meaning, I'm not going to try to give the classical televangelist styling. I guess this would make me a internet YouTube evangelist, social media evangelist. Anyway, no, none of those things. I want to. I wanted to start with that because I just have a feeling today might not be what most people would expect or associate with our amazing topic that I have today. The last one was why God, and today is why Jesus. Okay, and to start, this might sound, for some people this might sound a little silly, but for others, it might be very honest. It's the why not just stick only with God, right? The most high, the Father of the Son. Why do I need Jesus? Why do I have to listen to him and talk to him and follow him? Why can't I just, go straight to God? And that's a tempting thought, right? It's very tempting. I get you. 100%. I got you on that. But what you might be missing out on doing that is the fact that you're losing the humanity of who Jesus is, because he is fully divine and fully human, fully God and fully man, both simultaneously. It's a great mystery. In all honesty, it's a great mystery. Christianity is riddled with, so many mysteries and a lot of history to, back it up. The why for Jesus comes in so many different ways, but we're gonna approach a couple today, right? We might get into more as time goes on, more specific, more laid out. But for today, what I want to touch on is the fact that Jesus Christ is a greater connection for us because he came down from heaven. He came down and he encountered us. He didn't just come down and encounter us as a God on earth encountering. No, he came down and he encountered the humanity of us, meaning he became man. He allowed himself to be a man. It sounds very confusing, but it's, in my opinion, that much more amazing, because at that point he humbled himself to such a degree we would never understand. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to be able to relate to someone who might have gone through it too. Someone who's had the highs and the lows, who's struggled and who's done the walk, who's walked in our shoes even. And it makes it so it just doesn't feel like we have this God out there who's just sitting in this ivory tower just judging us. Oh, you're good, you're bad, you've done well, you've not done. No, he came down and he sat He broke bread. He sat at dinner tables and lounges and talked to people, ate food with people, and all these other things. He performed miracles and all those amazing things, yes, but I think even more so, he made it less like he was a judge only meant to, strike vengeance, but truly a Lord, a friend and a creator, someone that we serve, yes, but someone who we serve faithfully because he has our best interests at heart by knowing all the things we, do on a daily basis, going to sleep, waking up, having to do this and that and the other. And it makes it more relatable for broken people, for people who don't don't feel like they're perfect, or people who that life just isn't going the way they wanted, or it doesn't unfold the way they thought it would. And if we don't have someone here to say I see you, we never felt seen. And for those broken people, he says, follow me. Follow me. He distinctly asked, at the time, fishermen, carpenters, and farmers, and people who would bust their back nonstop. He would ask them to follow me. He even did it to tax collectors. He did it to people in such a way that there's really no doubt that he still does ask us to follow him as well. He didn't have a certain class you had to pass first. He didn't have uh, a wealthy family you needed to be born into. No, he went to whoever and he said, follow me, distinctly to us. And when he does that, and why he does that is so much more beautiful, because he does it because he loved us. That's why we want what we want. That's why Jesus is. Because God loved us so much that he sent his own begotten son. If you remember what begotten means, it means one of his own being. He sent his own begotten son to come into the world to save it. He sent him to not judge, but so it can have salvation. We can go into so many different levels of this, but I think we have to process this first step. These are miles that we're trying to step in such a quick amount of time. I try to do this in 10 minutes in case you've realized I failed every time. We're trying to walk miles and miles and miles within 10 minutes, and there's so much processing that needs to go, so much discernment, meaning we're faithfully taking in information, praying over it, and making decisions upon it. But let's really just keep it we got to think on it. We got to kind of work through it, and we got to let it settle into our hearts. Okay. One of the last things, and I want to bring this up today because there's going to be so many more instances it'll probably pop up, is when we didn't go into life, right? We didn't go into the death, the resurrection, the beating of the passion, nothing. But when he ascended, so when Jesus left earth and he ascended up into heaven, the final time he did something for all of us. He left his Holy Spirit with all of his disciples. That same Spirit has been passed on from generation to generation. The same Spirit that works between the Father and the Son. The same Spirit that was in the Son himself. The final piece of what is called the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, was left with us all. It was left to strengthen us, is left to guide us, to comfort us. It was that little piece of Jesus that, for lack of a better word, saying, I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm leaving someone. He actually says, I'm going to leave someone greater than me to be with you. Someone greater than me is going to be here with you now. And he does it in a way that is so puzzling, but at the same time, it leaves so much more opportunities for the Spirit to grow. See, why I wanted to get into the Holy Spirit. And with that, it hopefully draws up, right? I'm not trying to create confusion or anything like that, but it draws up more questions. We should be always questioning and pursuing our greater understanding. Because when we hit a point where we think we know it all and we don't want to continue to learn, continue to understand who God is, who Jesus is, what the Holy Spirit is, or who the Holy Spirit is, and say thank you. Because when you stop learning, you stop being at awe. You stop really worshiping. You get stuck. So we have to continuously draw that up. So with that, like that is just some would say the tip of the iceberg. And that doesn't even, none of this will draw the entire justice of what we're talking about. But what we're really doing is we're starting conversations within ourselves or in our circles. And in doing that, hopefully we are becoming holier people, yes, but wholer people. I think that's where we need to get, is we have to become whole first before we can become holy. We want to just jump straight to the end, and that usually leaves a mess. But I digress, because I want to try to keep this one as short as possible today. So if this kind of makes sense, awesome. If this made zero sense, bear with me. But I just want you to have that little bit of different information before, maybe you've already done you're doing all your side research and actually your preliminary work right now, and this is just to help accompany this, or it's just meant to go along with it. It's just meant to go along with it. This is, say a peripheral, right? It's a keyboard and mouse to the entire PC setup itself. It's the cord that hooks the charger to the phone. So as I leave you for today, I will hopefully catch more of what we're going after. And until next time, take care.